Hello everybody, this is Dragonzilla1991 here, and today/tonight, depending on what time it is when you're watching this video, the subject will be on the Collecta Deluxe Stegosaurus. However, there is a reason why Steggy is today's topic, and that's because he's going to be one of the stars of the brand new upcoming Netflix series, The Dinosaurs, to which I believe is a spin-off to life on our planet, but more focused in the Mesozoic, from the early Triassic all the way up to the end of the late Cretaceous period. And so to celebrate, I thought that it would be very appropriate to talk about this reptile, and its perfect timing too. Now, I've been aware of this model for many years, but never bothered with it because I had other figures of this animal, such as the Papo and Safari, etc. and so on. However, what made me want this model was the miniature version from the Collecta Mini Dinosaurs tube that I reviewed last year, links in the description below. And after receiving him this Christmas just gone, I decided that he actually looked a lot better than I originally thought. And out of the set, he's currently the only large representative, collector-wise that is. Okay, there's also Mosasaurus, but that was a marine reptile and not a dinosaur. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the colour scheme, as it's very interesting, because I always assumed it to be a dark bluish colour. However, on taking a closer look, he's actually a dark teal green, with maybe just a little tint of emerald sprinkled in. And both dorsal plates and phacomisers are what I can only describe as a fiery colour. Green and red have always been the traditional colours for this reptile, green for the animal itself and red for the back plates. And even though Stegosaurus does look really good in green and red, as those were the colours that I often picked for him whenever I drew him in as a kid, but if he really were these colours, then I believe that it would have looked quite similar to what we could see on the figure. As I said before, there are some dinosaurs to which we know what colours they were, and others we don't know. And I think Stegosaurus may be one of those dinosaurs to which we don't know what colours they were in life. I'm not too sure on that one. Now, since feathers on dinosaurs became a popular subject, for every single species the question has always been, did it have feathers? And Stegosaurus is no exception. However, to my knowledge, no evidence of plumage has ever been detected on this animal, so it's most likely that Stegosaurus was a non-avian reptile, and he doesn't really have the correct body structure for feathers, and given the environment that he lived in, there really wasn't any need for them. Instead, he would have possessed scales, and this model reflects this beautifully. But just because Stegosaurus was a reptilian giant, that doesn't mean that he wasn't related to birds, and he still had some bird-like features. For example, I believe that the beak is pretty bird-like, but still reptilian in appearance, kinda like a turtle's beak. And many years ago, I read up in a dinosaur book that this titan may have also been bird-hipped too. And what's with those backplates? Did Steggy really need any plumage all over his body? His throat may look rather bloated, however this is actually armour, as this animal was armoured underneath, so this is correct. Also, the neck appears to be short and thick, like you see on outdated portrayals of the animal, even though it does look a little bit thick now that I look at it again. Where in reality, I believe that it was actually a little longer and a bit more slender, so I reckon he wouldn't be Stegosaurus without the backplates. But I have noticed on the Collector model, they are spread out where they should be closer. I don't know whether or not it's an accidental error, or it's to make him stand out from other Stegosaur figures that are out there on the market. And of course, there are the phacomisers that only help to make this dinosaur so iconic. However, they are facing backwards, where they should be pointed sideways, but they are still capable of tackling an attacking Allosaurus. For paws, well, I wouldn't say he appears to be going for a walk, yet the tail looks to be raised up, just slightly. Perhaps he's on high alert, just in case a predator isn't too far away. It's really hard to say, but judging by the pose, with the mouth open and the tail in position, I'm guessing maybe he's on the alert. Because the Jurassic period was a dangerous world, and carnivores weren't too far away. So of course Stegosaurus would be fully aware of all the native meat eaters, and be on the alert at all times. Now for size comparisons. Well, this is what he looks like with the Safari Limited Stegosaurus Sophie that we covered before on the channel, last year I believe. Links in the description below in case you wish to check the video out. Here he is with both the PNSO and Safari Limited Allosaurs, who have been looked at before. Well, Safari has his own video, and PNSO has yet to be reviewed, but the link to the Safari Allosaurus is in the description as well. This is what he looks like with the Safari Limited Megalosaurus, who we've also talked about, again, link below. And for the fun of it, here he is with the Mojo Fun Woolly Mammoth, also new to the collection and received this past Christmas. And of course, the Mojo Fun Smilodon / Sabertooth Cat, new version. I do plan to obtain the 2017 model and then review both Smilodons in the same video, something for the future. So overall, what are my final thoughts on the Collecta Deluxe Stegosaurus? Despite the inaccuracies, I really do like this model, and no big surprise that I'll be all over this one, because Stegosaurus is one of my all-time favourite species of dinosaurs. Well, for herbivores that is. For carnivores it's Allosaurus, as I once said before. Again, if you're a sucker for accuracy, I would recommend the Safari Limited figure of Sophie, or even the new PNSO model. However, if you just like Stegosaurus in general like I do, then yes, I would definitely add him to your collection. I ordered him off everythingdinosaur.com, and the link to the website will be in the description below. You know, because Stegosaurus is one of the most easiest to extinct animals to reconstruct, I would really love to see Eofauna make their own interpretation of this gentle giant. This is Dragonzilla1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.